Welcome back to the deep dive here on Tech Talk Central. We are really excited you joined us for this focused comparison today.
We really are. We're shrinking our focus, literally,
Uh-huh.
and diving deep into the mini PC space. I mean, this market segment is just exploding right now, offering desktop-level power in a
Mm.
in a footprint that can just hide behind your monitor.
That's the dream, isn't it? Maximum computing power, minimal physical presence. So our mission today is to really cut through the marketing copy and give you a detailed side-by-side analysis of two heavy hitters, the GEEKOM AX8 Pro and the Lenovo IdeaCentre Business Mini Desktop.
Exactly. For you, the listener, whether you're decking out a powerful home office or searching for, the ultimate home theater PC, this analysis will clarify exactly which machine is built for what you need.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So when we kick off a deep dive into performance machines, the processor is always the first place to look. And right away, these two could not be more distinct. We're talking AMD versus Intel.
Let's start with the GEEKOM AX8 Pro. It seems like it's all about raw speed here with the AMD Ryzen R7 8745HS.
It is. That chip is armed with 8 physical cores and 16 threads. But the key numbers to look at here are the clock speeds.
Right, a 3.8 gigahertz base, which is already pretty robust, but it boosts all the way up to 4.9 gigahertz.
Yeah.
That high single-core speed is usually fantastic for tasks that aren't perfectly multi-threaded, right?
Yeah, things like content creation software or specific real-time calculations. Now, compare that to the Lenovo IdeaCentre. It's clearly positioned for a different kind of workflow.
It's using the 13th gen Intel Core i5-13500H. And what's fascinating to me is that even though it's an i5, it actually has more cores.
It does. 12 total cores using Intel's hybrid architecture. And it matches the GEEKOM with 16 threads. But, and this is the trade-off, its max turbo frequency is a little lower at 4.70 gigahertz.
So what does that mean in practice?
Well, you're looking at a crucial trade-off. The GEEKOM is kind of optimized for that higher single-thread burst speed. So compiling code, maybe rendering a single video stream, that could be faster. The Lenovo, with more physical cores, is probably better suited for running, say, multiple virtual machines or just massive concurrent multitasking.
That's a really key distinction. Are you running one massive task or 8 moderate tasks at the same time? But if the CPU difference is nuanced, the contrast in system memory is, well, it's anything but.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the GEEKOM AX8 Pro just takes a huge generational leap ahead.
It really does. It ships with 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM.
And it's running at a scorching 5600 megahertz.
Yeah.
I mean, DDR5 offers significant bandwidth and latency improvements over the last gen. For the average user, that just translates to faster loading, smoother app switching. But for a power user, it means the CPU isn't just sitting around waiting for data.
Wait, 32 gigs of DDR5? That's huge for a machine this small. Is the average business user really going to notice that difference, or is that strictly for, like, professional video editing and heavy data crunching?
That's a great point. I mean, if you're just handling email and spreadsheets, 16 gigs is perfectly fine.
Okay.
But if you're juggling large Photoshop files, or you have browser windows with hundreds of tabs open, or you're dealing with big data sets, that 32 gigs of 5600 megahertz DDR5 becomes absolutely necessary.
And the Lenovo?
Well, the Lenovo IdeaCentre has 16 gigs of the DDR4 RAM, and it's clocked at 3200 megahertz, so half the capacity, and it's using the previous generation of memory.
So that choice really signals that the Lenovo is sticking to its business mini desktop label. It's prioritizing cost-effectiveness over peak memory performance.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to storage. Here, at least, we find some welcome parity. Both of them come with Windows 11 Pro pre-installed, and both have a 512 GB PCIe M2 SSD.
Right. And for anyone not familiar, a PCIe M2 SSD is just the current standard for incredibly fast storage. It's table stakes now. The GEEKOM does specify it's a Gen 4 drive, which gives it a theoretical speed advantage. But honestly, 512 GB is a solid starting point for either machine.
There is one last point on the software side that I thought was interesting. It says a lot about the target user. The GEEKOM documentation highlights its support for other operating systems like Manjaro, Ubuntu, and even Android by 86. What does that mean in practice?
It just means flexibility and control. It signifies that the GEEKOM isn't locked into Windows. It's catering to developers, to enthusiasts, to users who might want to run a Linux distribution for security or programming. The Lenovo, while you probably could install Linux on it, is clearly aimed at a corporate environment where anything outside of Windows is often, well, discouraged.
Let's pivot to graphics and connectivity then, because this feels like where the intended use cases really dramatically separate these two machines.
Absolutely. We have to look at the integrated graphics battle. The GEEKOM AX8 Pro has the AMD Radeon 780M, And this is not just some average integrated chip. It's widely considered one of the best you can get in this form factor today.
It's impressive they squeezed that in. The sources mention support for hardware ray tracing and variable rate shading. Now, we aren't talking about running AAA games at max settings here, but what does that capability mean for the person buying a mini PC?
It means it's a true multimedia hub. Ray tracing support, even if it's limited, enhances lighting and reflections. That translates into better fidelity for video rendering and smoother upscaling. It really all adds up to making the GEEKOM the superior choice for high-res video streaming, multimedia work, even some light gaming. It's a powerful home theater PC.
Whereas the Lenovo, by contrast, it's just relying on the standard integrated Intel UHD graphics.
Which is fine.
Right.
It's totally fine for office use. PowerPoint, Zoom calls, spreadsheets, no problem. It just lacks that multimedia muscle. It's optimized strictly for a traditional business desktop.
That's a perfect way to put it. So let's talk I/O, the ports. These are critical for any small machine.
For sure. The GEEKOM AX8 Pro gives you what the source calls a full seat of I/O. The headline feature is definitely the one ultra-fast USB 4 port. We're talking 40 gigabits per second data transfer.
And not just that, but it has dual 2.5 gigabit per second Ethernet jacks. That's a huge deal. That's a clear signal this machine is targeting high-speed networking, maybe for use as a media server or a NAS system.
Right. Plus, it can support up to 4K monitors.
How does it do that?
It's a mix. It uses its dual HDMI 2.0 ports and then its two multifunction Type-C ports. The ability to drive 4 displays from a machine this tiny it's remarkable.
And I saw that 3 of its 6 USB ports have power delivery. So it can also be a charging hub for your phone.
A high-speed one, yeah. It's a smart integration.
Okay, but the Lenovo is still competitive here, just with a different focus. It has your standard RJ45, HDMI, DisplayPort, Wi-Fi 6. But its ace in the hole for corporate users is the one Thunderbolt 4 port.
This is a point that needs some clarification. So, the GEEKOM's USB 4 port technically hits the same 40 Gbps speed as Thunderbolt 4. The difference really comes down to the ecosystem.
You mean like docking stations and stuff?
Exactly. Thunderbolt 4 uses specific protocols that are still mandatory for a lot of enterprise-grade docking stations, specialized monitors, things like that. If you work in an office where Thunderbolt 4 docking is the standard, the Lenovo gives you that seamless integration. The GEEKOM just leans more into the open standard high-speed stuff like USB 4 and that amazing dual LAN setup.
Okay, so when you decide to buy a mini PC, you're obviously prioritizing size. But that trade-off often creates big challenges, especially with heat. We have to talk about how these machines handle cooling.
You do. Let's start with the physical design. The GEEKOM AX8 Pro is described as a palm-sized beauty. It has a nice aluminum chassis, a sleek matte blue coating, and at only about 1.5 inches high, it's really setting a new standard for just how compact a powerful desktop can be.
Plus the VESA mount, you can just attach it to the back of your monitor and it basically disappears.
Yep, completely invisible.
Aesthetically, it's a clear winner. But let's address the elephant in the room, or the weight difference. The sources list the Lenovo item weight at 8 pounds, while the GEEKOM is around 3.5 pounds. That's a huge disparity.
It is, and it probably means the Lenovo listing includes a heavy external power brick or something. But even allowing for that confusion, the Lenovo is physically larger. It's got that more traditional boxy gray aesthetic that you see in a lot of business hardware. The GEEKOM clearly went for extreme compactness and a modern look.
Okay, but now the crucial part. Cooling. Squeezing an 8-core AMD chip and high-speed DDR5 RAM into a 1.5-inch box is a massive engineering challenge. How does the GEEKOM not just melt?
GEEKOM addresses this head-on with its proprietary Ice Blast 1.5 active cooling system. This isn't just a fan, it's designed specifically to maintain stability and performance, even under heavy, sustained workloads. They use strategically placed fans, heat pipes, sometimes even a vapor chamber, which is a big deal in a small device.
So the Ice Blast system is an entire thermal architecture. It's built to make sure you can actually use that 4.9 gigahertz boost speed without the machine immediately throttling back to prevent overheating.
Precisely. And this leads right into reliability. GEEKOM offers a 3-year limited warranty. That suggests a pretty high level of confidence in the machine's longevity. Combine that with the replaceable RAM and SSD. And it's clear GEEKOM sees this as a long-term investment for people who will push it hard.
And the Lenovo?
The Lenovo has a more standard cooling approach for its more modest specs. It's from a brand known for corporate reliability. But for those heavy use cases that need sustained peak performance, The GEEKOM's specialized cooling and its longer warranty give it a really compelling advantage.
So after diving deep into the architecture, the graphics, the physical design, the final decision really just hinges entirely on your priority
It
list.
really does.
So what does this all mean for you? If you are a power user, someone focused on content creation, running demanding software, hosting a media server, or you just want future-facing tech and sheer speed, the GEEKOM AX8 Pro seems like the unequivocal performance winner here.
I'd agree. You're paying for that massive 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, the powerful Radeon 780M graphics, and those super-fast dual 2.5G LAN ports. It's built to push the limits of what a small form-factor PC can do.
On the other hand, if your priority is purely business integration, office productivity, and your workflow absolutely relies on that dedicated Thunderbolt 4 connection for corporate docking stations.
Then the Lenovo IdeaCentre offers a robust, multi-core Intel platform. It's the stable workhorse. It's focused on standard business I/O and proven corporate reliability, even if it comes with less RAM and, lower-end graphics.
At the end of the day, you have to decide. Do you need the raw speed, memory capacity, and cutting-edge multimedia support of the GEEKOM? Or do you need the standardized, corporate-ready connectivity of the Lenovo? They're both tiny, but they're built for entirely different definitions of a power user.
Thank you so much for joining us for this comparison. We hope this analysis has given you the clarity you need to choose the right powerhouse for your desk.
To find the latest prices and deals, be sure to check out the links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Tech Talk Central, for more critical analyses just like this one.